This is everything in my bag for 2024, and this is my channel. My name's M&M Man, and welcome for the first time, or welcome back. Over time, I've collected a lot of gear that I think maybe if somebody was watching this, they could get their own idea for something they'd want, as well as in a year from now, I'd like to compare things that worked, didn't work, and things that I've added to.
Alright, so first off, you're going to need your trusted water bottle. Now this is essential for any hiking trip because obviously you don't want to get dehydrated. So be sure you have that. And then of course, a backpack is going to be necessary. I got this Swiss Gear one from Walmart, but inside here is what we're really after. So the first thing that you're going to want to make sure that you bring is a copy of Madden 08 for the Wii. Now this is going to be essential for whenever you go on any hiking trip, because you never know whenever you're going to find somebody with a Wii who's just lost in the middle of the woods, desperate for a game to play, and you can just be like, hey, Madden 08 for the Wii. Of course, another thing that you're going to need for any hiking trip is a packet of frozen Totino's pizza rolls. Now, this is obviously going to be necessary for any snack that you need, or if you really just want to feed the trees. So we're just going to put that right there for them. And that way we're kind of replenishing the forest, and you just always want to make sure you have at least one bag of frozen Totino's. Next up, you want to make sure you have a copy of Madden 08 for the PS2. Always vitally important, especially if you see any bears in the woods. They are absolutely terrified of Madden 08 for the PS2. So be sure you have that in hand. Next up, if you ever get thirsty and you run out of water, you're going to want to have a jar of peppermint essential oils. So if you just put a couple drops in your eyes, you can see in the fourth dimension. So that's always helpful, especially if you're hiking during nights. This is definitely an essential to bring. Next up, you want a second copy of Madden 08 for the PS2 in case you see a second bear. Thirdly, you're going to want a DVD copy of the movie Ponyo, specifically the dub featuring Matt Damon and Betty White. This is helpful if you ever see any snakes or anything like that. But this also works doubly because I've tricked you all. This is just another copy of Madden 08 for the PS2. I want to switch things up a bit here and make sure if you ever hurt your legs or anything that you need some stabilizers. So what I personally use for stabilizers is 2 copies of Madden 08 for the Xbox 360. Those are always a great help in that. Of course, if you ever get bored or you get hungry, you're gonna need some grinding salt. And also, this is really good for replenishing the forest and the trees. And also, the Totino pizza rolls usually are unsalted, so you're just gonna wanna put some of that on there, and then everything's basically fixed up. All right, next, we have Madden 08 for the PS3, but you're gonna wanna carry an extra special copy of this, because this one actually has 3 games in it. It's Madden 08 for the PS3, plus the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe on GBA, and then also Eminem's Blast for the GBA. And why you're gonna want these is because if you ever like track down in an alley and like somebody's mugging you for all 20 copies that you have of Madden 08 for the Xbox 360, you can put them in a really tough situation if they just see that you also have it for the PS3 and they're really excited to see that. And they open it up and they just see Eminem's Blast and Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe for GBA. They're never gonna mess with you again. Trust me, I've tried this many times. This is one life hack you don't want to ignore. Also, there's secretly a copy of MotorStorm Apocalypse for the PS3 in here. That's always gonna be an essential too. I never leave home without it. Next up, you're gonna wanna bring a replacement sweeper for your robot vacuum in case you ever feel lonely. All right, this time we got a double. We got 2 copies of Madden 08 for the PS3. Another essential, especially this time, if you forgot bug spray, you can just use these 2. And then all the mosquitoes and bugs just go away, and you never have to worry about ticks or anything like that. So these are a must-have for any hiking trip.
Hey, editing M&M Man in the future. I just want to say that past M&M Man is a stupid idiot here. You can't use 2 copies of Madden 08 for the PS3 for this. You actually need 2 copies of Madden 08 for the MacBook Pro. I didn't have those at the time, but one of my comments before uploading this video actually let me know that. So make sure that you keep that in mind whenever you're planning your next hiking trip. You cannot use Madden 08 for the PS3. It has to be for the MacBook DS.
If you're rolling on multiple day hiking trips like I always do every single day, you're going to want to think of dental floss, and you don't actually need to bring a toothbrush or toothpaste if you have this dental floss, because dentists are honestly lying to you. All you need is dental floss. Just floss your teeth and you're honestly good to go. This one's another essential. For the PSP, we have a UMD double feature of Stuart Little 1 and Stuart Little 2. Now, honestly, for this, you could probably Stuart Little 1, and you just throw it out. You don't need it. All you really need is Stuart Little 2. Don't bring your PSP, that won't be necessary. You can just stare at the disc and you can get hours of entertainment, especially if you can't let it campfire to watch that till you fall asleep. Just stare at the UMD copy of Stuart Little 2 and then you'll be fine. You're obviously going to want to bring some melatonin. If you're ever feeling a little bit down, these will give you a boost. Just take a couple of these, and they basically work like a coffee. If you ever feel like being like a merry man, you can always bring along your own automaton, and if you're ever bored, you can just start playing it in the middle of the forest, and that'll actually help if you ever get lost. It's a known fact that humans are instinctively drawn to the sound of an automaton in the middle of the woods, so make sure that you bring this along on any hiking adventure. And then last but not least, we need to end off with 2 more copies of Madden 08 for the PS3. And these ones are extra special copies. So you're gonna wanna make sure you bring tape. And here's what you're gonna wanna do. So, if your shoes ever get wet or anything like that, you take the copies of Madden 08 and you just tape them to your shoes. And voila, your protection. So we're gonna wanna do that with both shoes. And that's pretty much it. So that's basically just the bare essentials. This is what I usually take on every camping trip. If you found any of this interesting or helpful, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, that's basically it.